Gentlemen, the following contest is scheduled for one fall. Introducing first the host, straight from After the Slam podcast, Bodacious Albert.
After the slam, where the real ones stand, we talk dreams, defeats, and the master plan. From the locker room tales to the spotlight glam, you'll feel every hand. This is after the slam. This is after the slam. Body slam gear.
Welcome everyone to After the Slam episode 8. We are now here, round 2 of my day. I had James J Hebert side 95 just about an hour ago, and now we got a special guest scheduled on time, 4 o'clock. We're around 4:27, so late, a little bit late, but I apologize for that. But I got an incredible guest, somebody I admire in these Twitter spaces, very humble individual, and I learn a lot from him because I don't know a lot about wrestling. I'm a wrestling fan. I like to watch the show. I like to see the men in their spandex jump up from one down to the other and fall on the floor. I like my wrestling titles, as you can see in the background. I like those kind of things. But backstage stuff, I don't listen to. But if I have to learn something or two, my guest right now, he knows a lot more than I do. So, ladies and gentlemen, from the Wrestle Collective, I give you Hannibal Scorch. What's up, my friend?
How you doing, man?
I'm fantastic now that I see your beautiful face on my show.
You're a charmer, man. You're a charmer.
I try to make everybody feel comfortable on my show. I'm very happy that you give your time for me to be on the show and have all these views for me to get more followers. But I mean,
Hey, look. All I can do is tell people where I am. I can't. You can take a horse to water. You can't make it drink. That's all I can do, man. I can share this, and hopefully people will come in.
well, where I know here today, tonight, this afternoon, whatever it may be around the world here, you're from, tell me where you're from exactly.
I think the easiest way to tell you where I am from is I'm from Essex in England, which I'm about 15 miles away from Osprey, from where Osprey came from.
Well,
Yeah.
well, that's we got the man from England. I could say England. You could just have to say England. It's good.
Again, I told you before, I can be very specific. So that's actually vague for me. That's actually
Okay.
vague for me.
Yeah. Well, I'm happy you're here, my friend. And we're gonna talk about some. In French, we call it la lutte. Do you know what that means, la lutte? Wrestling.
I haven't got that far in Duolingo.
My
And
lingo.
that's not even a joke because I said to you a few weeks ago when I found out that you're from Montreal,
Yes.
and I was like, I got very excited because I've actually been to Montreal. It's not many places. I mean, I've been to quite a few places, but what I mean is that I don't know many people that have been to Montreal. So when I speak to somebody that's lives there or has been there, then I kind of get excited because I had a blast. I was only there for like 5 days. Had
Really?
an amazing time. And when I came back, I kind of in my head was like, you know what, we could probably move to Montreal, because of like the England Canada relationship.
Yeah,
It's
course.
easier to move there than like America. I was like, but I'd have to learn French, and I
No,
started
you
learning Duolingo. I started playing Duolingo like as soon as I got back, and I'm still no good. I do it every day. I'm still really crap at French. I wasn't very good at school either, but you know what? It's a daily routine, and I'm a man that loves to have routine. So there you go.
I like the shirt you're wearing. With the flag and the AEW on the side.
Yeah, there's a story about this because I'll be honest. Like I had thought before this interview, what do I wear? What do I wear? And I was going to start the stream wearing a shirt and a cravat and a plastic pipe. If I was like very, very notorious and serious about this kind of
Sure.
stuff, and then kind of like rip the shirt off and reveal this. But I chose this because I was like, I've got quite a few wrestling t-shirts, but what I like about this is, like you say, notice, Union Jack on here and the AEW because this was from All In. This was from the first All In. This was the shirt they made for the first All In at Wembley. It was the first time I'd ever been to a stadium show for wrestling. I'd always been to arenas or smaller venues to watch wrestling. So this was the first time I went to. And Wembley's like the national stadium of the UK. Like you get 100,000 people in there, depending on the setup. And yeah, man, this is just something that it was such a great day, even though it's not regarded as like the best show. It's not, but you know this, when you go to wrestling, when you go and see it live and you experience it, you feel differently about it than if you were just watching it at home on TV, because you're there, you're hearing the crowd, you're seeing the fans, you're getting all of that energy and atmosphere in real time, in person, and it just hits different, you know.
I disagree with you with that show. That show was pretty good. I like that show. So it was good.
It's not a bad show, and there were particular things. Like I was asked recently about, you know, like favorite moments in wrestling you experienced, and one of them was from that show, and it was really funny because we didn't know. We knew Sting was fighting on that show. He was scheduled for a match.
Yeah,
and when we was hanging out like a few hours before, like I went with a few friends, and I said, man, wouldn't it just be amazing? This was just after Tony Khan started licensing some music for wrestlers' entrances. I said, man, I would love to hear that Metallica song for Sting one more time. I can't see it happening because I know Metallica are quite difficult to deal with. I was like, but could you imagine hearing Seek and Destroy again? Like, that would just be incredible. And then, like, the match starts, a little vignette plays beforehand, and it all goes dark, and then and I was like, I just lost my mind, because there was no way I could have seen that happen. It was just a wish. Do you know what I mean? And then when something happens again that you're hoping for and you see it unfold, that's what makes wrestling great.
That exact same feeling happened to me back in 2006, and he didn't show up. Was it 2006? Yeah, it was the rivalry between Hulk Hogan and Shawn Michaels. I forgot the year. It was the SummerSlam rivalry, and Shawn Michaels turned heel for like that month. And then they came to Montreal, and Bret Hart music played. You know, shout out to Bret Hart. And he didn't show up. He wasn't even there. And I was like, "Oh my God, he's here! Oh my God!" And nobody came out. And Michaels was just laughing at me, and I'm like, "That piece of shit."
Yeah.
But that feeling was there. That feeling was there.
I remember them doing that at the time, and yeah, I mean, it's such a dick move, you know, to do something like that, because it's false advertising, but it's obviously a funny rip, but yeah, you get excited for something and then you find out that it's just them messing around. You're like, boo!
Yeah,
great way to get heat.
We were terrible. All right, man. But anyways, that's a great headway to start the show, Hannibal. I'm happy you're here. We got Advocate here watching. He's sending a comment saying that, Advocate, what are you saying, buddy? He's going to be on my show later on this month, November. Yeah, Sherlock Holmes. Come on, man. This is Hannibal Scorch you're talking about.
To be fair, he's not completely incorrect. I don't have a Sherlock Holmes hat. My daughter does, but I don't. So he's close. There's one in my house, you know.
Yeah. You know, speaking of your daughter, now that's a good segue. I'm going to start with the first question with you. How is it being a wrestling fan and have children? Because I have two kids. I have a daughter and a son. My daughter's 4 years old and my son's 1. And obviously I have a loving wife who does not appreciate wrestling that much the way I do. But
common.
But how do you make time for your pro wrestling passion and your children, or do you incorporate them together?
Unfortunately not. No, I don't incorporate the two things together, because despite my best efforts and despite showing my daughter Orange Cassidy matches and Will Ospreay matches,
awesome,
she just doesn't get it. She's got no interest in it at all. And the way that I can fit it in, so much of it as well, is the fact that I live in a completely different time zone to it. So, for example, we're watching Collision last night in a Discord, myself and some people from the collective, and it's on at 1 a.m. my time.
We're losing you.
You're losing me?
We're losing you, Hannibal. Yeah. Okay, we got you.
Oh,
Got you back. Got you back.
got me back?
Got you back.
Okay.
Got you back.
Where do we get to? What did you hear? What didn't
Collision.
you hear?
Collision.
Yeah. So because of the time difference, Collision is on at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, where you are. It's 1 o'clock in the morning for me.
Oh my god.
So I, since the age of about 16, was when I've been watching wrestling since 1991. I worked out the other day, it was 91, not 1990, 91. And at that time, I was catching what was ever regularly scheduled on TV. I watched it to about 95 and stopped. And then I started watching again in the year 2000, beginning of the year 2000. And I was 16 then, and I had access to the pay-per-views that were live, and they started at 1 o'clock in the morning. And that's when I started to watch wrestling live for the first time. And I've done it pretty much ever since. So the reason I can kind of balance that family life, who have got no interest in wrestling at all, and being able to watch wrestling is because it's on at such stupid times.
See, my daughter is into the she's into it, like she likes the diva. I keep saying divas. I'm that old. The women's wrestling.
Yeah.
The women wrestlers. But she's a big fan of CM Punk and Cody Rhodes. She does it's clobbering time on CM Punk. She sings the Cult of Personality songs. She's 4. She doesn't know what the song is.
Nice.
and she does the whoa with Cody Rhodes, you know. So as a father, to see that, having her daughter seeing his daughter doing that, you know, it's cool, you know.
Sure. No, absolutely. I'm envious of people that are able to do that.
How old is your daughter, if you don't mind me asking?
My daughter is 12.
She's 12.
Yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, she's gone. She's gonna be 13 soon, but yeah, you're good. it's over.
Her life is Taylor Swift and books, and
that's fantastic. That's a good thing.
That's the thing. Do you know what I mean? Like, I can't be angry at that. Do you know what I mean? And I've got an 11-year-old son, but he's not really interested. If I put wrestling on, he might watch it for a little bit, but he's not really interested. He's non-verbal and got global development delay, so it's hard to be able to kind of like even explain what's going on when he watches wrestling anyway. So, you know, he'll just kind of ignore it. As I said, he'll look over a few times, but he's never really kind of like seen something that's kind of piqued his interest. So, you know, maybe one day we'll see, but you know.
That's okay. But now, speaking of your children, now let's rewind a bit. You, how did you get into pro wrestling? You started you said 16 or before that? Like you were younger?
No, so I was let's see, I must have been 7 or 8.
Okay.
Yeah, probably between 7 and 8.
All
and the weird thing is, I'm not exactly sure which came first. Was it seeing the Hasbros in the toy shop, or was it catching an episode of Superstars on TV?
Oh wow, okay.
I'm not sure. It's one of the two. I mean, so I remember seeing the Hasbro toys when they first launched in the UK. We've got a massive toy shop in the UK called Hamleys, and they had them in there. And I remember seeing them going, man, these are quite cool looking figures. And then we just got satellite television at the time, and there wasn't many channels on satellite television, just a few. But one of them did show WWF, and they showed it quite a lot. And so I just stumbled upon it at some point and was like, hey, this is pretty interesting. You know, I've seen these toys, so I know what the characters look like, and now I'm seeing what they do in the ring. And one of the first angles that I can remember was when Macho Man Randy Savage got bit by one of Jake the Snake's snakes. I think it was a King Cobra. And do you remember the angle where he got bit by the snake? Do you remember seeing it? Or have you ever seen that?
Of course I've seen it.
Yeah.
He was on the ropes, and I even remember the tights Jake the Snake was wearing. He was wearing the blue and yellow and orange tights, like little, like I remember that. Yeah, I watched it. I was there.
So the funny thing was, no. But the funny thing was, like, because they were showing it during the day, there was like this big red X that was going
Yeah, you
across
didn't
the
want to show
screen.
it. Yeah.
Right.
Us, it was
And
like the little scribbly thing.
right. And so but the thing is, when you're that kind of age and you're seeing something where they throw like a massive X and you're kind of like looking, trying to see past this like big X on the screen to see what's going on. And I was like, man, this is wild. Like, they're showing this during the day. It's years later you find out, exactly what was going on and how safe it was, and all stuff. But it was at that moment I was like, this is me. This is a bit of me. And then, yeah, it also helped that it kind of exploded in the UK at the same time. So, you could go into school and people knew they were watching as well. So you could have those conversations on like a Monday morning. Hey, did you see like Superstars yesterday? And talk about the matches and like, the Undertaker's just debuted and all this stuff. When you're young and you're able to talk to people about something that you all find passion in, it just kind of builds up, So that's what kind of got me first interested in wrestling.
And your favorites back then? I'm assuming Hulk Hogan.
Mr. Perfect was my guy. I loved watching Mr. Perfect matches, and it was really weird because I didn't like the heels, neither did the bad guys, but it was something about Mr. Perfect's the way he wrestled that I just really, really enjoyed. So I always rooted for him, even though I kind of rooted for those good guys as well. So I did like Hogan, and I liked Bret, and I liked the British Bulldog, obviously, because he was like being pushed as like the big British star. And I liked the tag teams. I liked watching the Legion of Doom. I liked watching the Rockers. I liked watching the Bushwhackers. I mean, even to the point my dad never watched wrestling. He never liked it. He never got into it. But I could have said to him like 10 years ago, what did the Bushwhackers do going to the ring? And he'd do it. He'd do that. Because he just never forgot. Like it was, that was one of the things that he saw that stuck with me. Yeah, exactly. So, and I think that was the beauty of that time of wrestling, was that it was like kind of so big and over the top that there were things that were so cartoony, ridiculous, but they stuck with you,
Yeah.
So
for me, it was the Nasty Boys. I'm gonna say it again. The Nasty Boys were with the armpit, and they put the armpit in the face. Yeah. Man, that was for me. That was my
pit stop. I hate those guys, man. I never liked them. I don't know why. But yeah, I just never got into them. And I found it weirder years later when they were still kind of, they're pushing them in WCW long after they'd been through WWF. And then, Brian Knobbs especially had a bit of a hardcore run towards the end of WCW. And I'm like, why are they pushing this guy still? He looks about 70 years old.
He's Hulk Hogan's friend. What do you want to do?
No, I know now. Yeah.
That's what it was. All right. So, Mr. Perfect, I appreciate that answer because I had somebody we spoke. I don't forget who it was with, manager wise, Bobby the Brain Heenan was Mr. Perfect's manager, and those two were amazing. Now, if you want to say my opinion, your opinion, Hannibal, we both have different opinions on a lot of things. For me, if it wasn't a Bobby the Brain Heenan, there wouldn't be a Paul Heyman. So, it's maybe you have a different opinion on that.
No, I think Paul Heyman would probably be the first person. Paul Heyman, Paul Heyman is somebody who his entire wrestling career really is stolen off the back of other people. He just copies the best. And look, you know what? Credit to the guy, because if you can take the bits that work from people and then put them together and make it work for you and have a successful career out of it, fair play. I think the man is an absolute monster. I hate Paul Heyman. Well, I don't, and again, I guess this is where we kind of differ in that all right, so most people, if you're meeting me for the first time, I'm sorry, but you won't know this. But people that are in spaces, they will know this. I'm autistic. I've got ADHD, and so I get passionate about things, and I will go on deep dives about things and go down rabbit holes. And I want to kind of learn as much as I can about stuff. And the reason why I hate Paul Heyman is because of what he did with ECW and the way that he treated the wrestlers in ECW. And I don't mean in terms of how he talked to them or anything like that, but what I mean is that he put some of those guys in such financial debt because he's a great showman. He's like a P.T. Barnum kind of figure in that he can like get you to believe him and get you to like go behind him, but there's nothing there.
No,
like the guy Tommy Dreamer and Chris Candido like both racked up like hundreds of thousands of dollars of like credit card debt based on like Paul Heyman saying, yeah, we're going to get this deal and we've got money coming in from over here, and he wasn't. He was bluffing. He was
lying. Yeah, for sure.
And I just I think the worst thing about that is for me is that it gets forgotten very easily. So a lot of people either don't know or just like to forget because he's entertaining on TV, and I can't be. Yeah, I've got very particular lines where I draw things in the sand, and but at the same time, I get why he's popular. I understand why he's had the career that he's had. He's just not for me,
I'm 100% with you on that one, because for me, he's not for me either. If I have to pick Bobby the Brain Heenan or him, I pick Bobby the Brain Heenan screaming in my ear every day.
Bobby was incredible. Not only was he, I mean, look, we're not going to say he's a good worker, right? But at the same time, he could work a comedy match, right? But the thing is, he wasn't just a good manager; he was also like a good commentator.
Yeah,
and
Gorilla Monsoon.
Yeah, I mean, man,
my earliest memories was those two guys talking. My earliest memories are those two guys talking, calling a match.
Yeah,
and I constantly rewind to go see those matches just to hear their voices. It's like my two uncles arguing, like when Hogan passed. Like I was telling my father the other day, I grew up a Hulkamaniac. I followed Hogan's career from top to bottom, from AWA to here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And hey, Shaka Crypto, hey man, nice to see you, man. That's my friend Shaka from a long time ago in my NFT days. Back to Hogan. Hogan, when he passed, I told my dad, it's like I'm hurt, even though he was towards the end, whatever he was, it was like a shot to my heart. Like my childhood died a bit, and it's like my uncle passed away, kind of thing. Same thing. Like if I miss hearing my uncle's voices, I'm going to see Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan on Netflix. We have Netflix here in Canada. Okay, we can watch it.
Same, yeah.
So I'm privileged to rewind, like watch old WrestleManias and old Royal Rumbles and old SummerSlams and hearing their voices, and I'm like, I'm calm again. Like those guys, for me, those are the top two commentators of all time, by far.
I think I think it's telling that over the years, so many people have tried to imitate them, and they've never been able to better them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people try, and I get it, but no one. I don't know what it was. I don't know what secret sauce was with those two, but they just amazing. Clicked.
Yeah,
like no one else has.
Nope.
Amazing.
It was that. Speaking of managers again, what do you feel about the work Don Callis has been doing in AEW?
I mean, I think the Don Callis family as a faction has been really, really good.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, I think it's had, like a lot of things, even like the best storylines, there's peaks and troughs. And when he first started setting up the Don Callis family, didn't kind of really work for me. Didn't really understand the purpose of it. And as time's gone on, I think it's made more sense. And also, it's very much like Heyman before, and like Bobby before. Building up this family and building up this like stable of wrestlers who can, in a lot of ways, can kind of elevate each other. Because what that group's got is some excellent wrestlers and some excellent wrestlers who can talk and can also wrestle, but also wrestlers that, lack in the talking department. So, either Callis himself or another member of the family can kind of like be used to accentuate those limitations.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? So, and I think that's when a faction works the best, when it's not all equal. There are going to be discrepancies, and there's going to be like levels to it. There's people that are in that group that, to me, certainly shouldn't be in there, but they're the guys that are going to take the losses, right? Because that's the other thing. If you've got like the NWO, Hogan, when it first started, Hogan, Nash, Hall, who's taking those pinfalls week in, week out? Yeah. No one. That's when you get your Vincents and your six.
Vincent, oh my goodness!
But you know what I mean? Like, and the problem is then is, and then you start diluting the brand by doing that, right? But I think the Don Callis family's actually done that the other way around. They kind of had those people in before getting in your Takeshita's and your Okadas and your Carl Fletchers, and respect the bald Carlos.
Virgil.
Because but that's it. Do you know what I mean? And then you've got your people like your Lance Archers and your Trent.
Lance Archer shouldn't be a freaking guy to take a fall, though. Lance Archer's a monster. He's a mid, I guess.
Well, the thing is, and this is something else about wrestling, which I think people don't always appreciate, is that where you are in one company doesn't dictate where you could be somewhere else. Yeah. Mike Santana currently is a great example of that, right? Now, I don't really watch TNA nowadays, but I love the guy when he was there the first time. I enjoyed his work in AEW. And when he asked for his release, I was like, this is going to be interesting, because this guy clearly saw he could do more and be in a better position on the card than he was, right? But he's not going to get that opportunity in AEW. So what he did was he went off and he went to Hog and I can't remember. I know he did like a few of like the larger independents, but still very independent, and got some titles there, and then got himself back to TNA and has worked himself up to be in a position where he's now the champion, right? Yeah. And that's fantastic. I'm really pleased for him. But at the same time, do you think if he goes to WWE, he's going to be the WWE World Champion?
No.
Because there's levels to it. And you can be a big fish in a small pond, or a small fish in a big pond. Like, it's just how it goes. But you only have to move to the next pond, and suddenly that changes. You were small in that pond, but you've gone over there. Now you're the big fish. Mm-hmm. And people don't seem to appreciate that enough. That you hear a lot, Tony fumbled this wrestler, or Triple H didn't push this guy, and now they're over in this company, and look how they're doing. Yeah, it's a different company.
Yeah.
And there's different strengths and weaknesses to all of these companies. So, yeah, you can, and that's why he bet on himself, right? Because he felt he could do more, and he's proven it. But he's proven it at the levels where I think he could do. I think if he tried to make the next jump, he wouldn't be as successful in that way. But I bet he's happy. That's what counts.
Yeah, he's happy. He's very happy. But I think he's realizing that he's stuck there. Like, where else do you go from there, bud? You're stuck there now. Yeah,
he gets himself hopefully a nice NXT run when his contract expires, and maybe he'll have some luck there with some of the belts. But I don't see him as a headline. I don't see him a headline in WrestleMania.
No.
And that's no disrespect, because not everyone can. And I remember hearing this years and years ago. Somebody saying, I can't remember who it was, but it was a wrestler, and they said, if your dream isn't to become the wrestling world champion, pack it in, go home, give up, because that should be your ambition. It's like, no, not everyone is going to be a world champion. We talked earlier about Mr. Perfect. Mr. Perfect to me is probably, out of all those people, and there's been a lot of people that didn't get the world title, for me, he's the one guy I really felt they missed out on. Like, I would love to have seen him as a world champion at some point, but not everyone is going to get that opportunity. So there are positions for everyone on the card. Why did we have known jobbers so much? Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So to me, Lance Archer, going back to the point I was making, Lance Archer, he's had a good run. He's now in his mid to late 40s, and he even though he looks the same, he looks imposing and he is that monster, in AEW, it doesn't really fly. And there's nothing wrong with it. And you know what? He seems to be content because he's re-signed a couple of times. He's obviously quite happy with what he's getting. And, you know, who can complain about that? If the wrestler's happy, then that's all we can ask for.
See, for AEW, like you were saying, Lance Archer, my fumble is Nick Cage. You know, I'm a Nick Cage fan. You know, he could have been an AEW World Champion, but what are you doing with that guy? I know he's injured right now. He has a broken leg, whatever it may be. But you know, it's like he could have been a World Champion. He could have been AEW Champion. You know, they give him that freaking what's that title? The FTW title.
Hang on, Nick Wayne.
No. What's his name? Brian Cage.
Brian Cage. He's
good, man.
No, he's not. And he's not awful. No, but no.
Bing.
But he's not awful. He's not awful. I'm not saying that for a second. But again, like I remember seeing him in Lucha Underground.
Yeah, he was amazing.
Love Lucha Underground. And he was great. But again, like Karrion Kross is another one. I loved his NXT run. But when he came up to the main roster,
the helmet.
Yeah, forget about that. But even the stuff when he came back didn't work. You know, they took the helmet away from him when he came back, and you know, Scarlet and everything still didn't really work. Again, I think it's not. So, it goes back to what I'm saying. It's where you are in the company, and and what that company kind of needs, and what that's like. Like, yeah, Brian Cage is a great hand, but I don't see him as an AEW top guy. Like, there are so many people that I think are surpass him in everything that he does. But you put him in a House of Glory, or put him in Ring of Honor, and he would be a good champion in Ring of Honor. But I don't see him as that guy in AEW.
All right, so who do you see as that guy? Okay, let me okay, I know you're not a WWE. Well, you're a WWE fan. Everybody is, but I mean, you pick AEW over WWE right now. I get it. Everybody, you know, it's fine. Give me two guys from each promotion that you could see as a world champion coming up. And if you say Darby Allin, we're shutting the stream down right now.
Well, no, but here's the thing. Somebody asked me this. In fact, it was Advocate the other day. He did a poll about who should be AEW World Champion.
Yeah.
And I did vote for Darby Allin at that time. And the reason why I've done such a switch around on him in terms of he literally bleeds that company.
If
you cut him open,
AEW. Yeah,
if you cut him open, the blood would say AEW. Like the guy, and the thing is, I don't think he's not the best wrestler, or anything like that. But in terms of how he represents the company and how much you can see how much that company means to him, that's got to be something, right?
Yeah.
But
100%.
if I was choosing two people, I would choose Carl Fletcher. He is going to be a massive star. He's already proved this year how great he is. And
is it me or Carl Fletcher reminds me, if you put this when he has the suit on and he's holding that TBS the TNT title, okay, he reminds me of a young Ric Flair with bald. For some reason.
Well, I've seen a lot of people say that he looks like a young Randy Orton. Who himself, you know, kind of like borrowed from Ric Flair, right?
Yeah, right.
The best. So yeah, no, I can absolutely see that. Will Ospreay. He's obviously been world champion. Yeah, he's obviously been world champion elsewhere. But yeah, he's going to get his moment in the sun in AEW, and it's going to be glorious. I worked with Will right at the very, very beginning of his career, like first few matches. I first met Will Ospreay, and he was about 17, 18. And we used to do shows a few times a year for this little promotion that I worked for, and I was the ring announcer. And you could, when I went to those shows, you know, they all tried really hard. but there was something about Osprey from the get-go that you're like,
he had that
this
aura.
guy is gonna make it. But at the same
Not so
time,
much
he
in
was
promos.
yeah. But at the same time, he was doing the high risk style that has made him famous in front of like 100 people.
Mhm.
And I remember speaking to him backstage one day, and I was like, "Look, I'm just a ring announcer, right? So I'm nobody. But if you want to make it to like WWE, you can't be doing the stuff you're doing now in front of these people because there's no one here. So you've got to slow yourself down because you're gonna hurt yourself and you're gonna shorten your career." And he said to me, the only companies I want to work for are TNA and New Japan. I was like, really? You don't want to work for WWE? He's like, no. He said, like, I grew up watching those those companies. That's the wrestling I love. That's why I do what I do. If I've worked for those companies, I'll feel fulfilled. And he did. Fair play to him. Like the guy wrestled for TNA. The guy wrestled New Japan for a number of years. And now he's become this massive star. Very proud of him. Very proud of him.
He's. I remember this big YouTube clip with Paul Heyman giving him a WWE contract. You saw it in his eyes, like, yeah, thank you, but no, thank you. It was. But
to be fair,
he
he wasn't ready for that at that time anyway.
Yeah.
I think the biggest criticism that people had of Will at the time was the fact that he was doing things without thinking. And what I mean is, you hear this term like, oh, they're just spot monkeys. They're just doing moves for the sake of doing moves. Like, it's a criticism thrown at AEW a lot of the time. They just do moves. It's just gymnastics, whatever. Will didn't really think about how a match would be put together. He just wanted to do the stuff he wanted to do. He wanted to do the dives to the outside. He wanted to, do all this acrobatic stuff. But there was no rhyme or reason to it. And so what he knew he had to do, because he got told this by actual professionals, not me, is you've got to understand how a match gets built. And that's what he did in Japan. That's he was already learning that in the UK, but you go to New Japan and you actually listen to the wealth of knowledge that company has. That's why he is the wrestler he is today. And when people turn around to me and say, oh, he's just a flip-flop, gymnastic, doesn't, just flips and, flash moves, you're not watching. You're not watching. You're watching clips on YouTube. You're watching clips on X, whatever. But if you actually sit there and watch a Will Ospreay match in 2024, 2025, the guy you are watching tells a story during his matches. And it's a criticism I hate about AEW the most is people that don't watch it. They'll watch clips and they'll assume what's going on.
Yeah, I'm guilty. I'm guilty. Like I guess I have TSN. I could get TSN to watch AEW and Dynamite and Collision and all that. I don't. That's my choice. But I do watch AEW in its in the short clips and everything. But I've seen. I do watch full matches. I go online and I watch full matches. Will Ospreay, for me, as you said, is the future world champion. He is the face of AEW as a world champion. I 100,000% agree with you because his storytelling in the ring is fantastic. His moves mean something. And a lot of people, a suplex here, a brain buster there, his moves mean something when he does it. They're impactful. You hear the impact when he hits the opponent. He's a fantastic again, I say superstar wrestler, pro wrestler. Bear with me. I'm a WWE mark. So I'll admit it. I don't care. But Will Ospreay is, for me, a good top guy for AEW to be the next world champion. And for criticism of AEW, I'm the guy that listens in the background, and I don't agree with what WWE is doing, and I don't agree with AEW is doing. I don't agree with anybody's doing. I'm the type that just sit behind my television screen and watch the product. I don't care what's going on backstage. I'm not that type of guy. So.
Yeah, well, let me answer your other part of the question first, and I'll revert back to that. So, in terms of WWE, I think everyone is set on Bron Breakker being a future world
Yeah,
champion.
that world title looked awesome on him.
Now, I still don't think he's the polished product. I still think he
Agreed.
needs work. But
Yes.
but is he going to be? Undoubtedly. He's everything they want in somebody. The second part of that is very, very difficult because the one thing that I think WWE have done an absolutely appalling job of recent years is building up new talent, new wrestlers. NXT, we were told NXT was going to be the stars of the future. They bring in class after class, year after year. Some of them have got experience in wrestling. Some of them are models, gymnasts, athletes, whatever. And they put them in the PC and they train them. Some make it, some don't. Some get on TV, some don't. Some last on TV, some don't. You know what I'm saying. But they have not been building up a young roster. And, you know, who was the last person? So we've talked about Bron Breakker. But before Bron Breakker, who was the last star they built it from the Performance Center, like through NXT? Who was the last big star?
That's a good question. I can't recall.
No, you can't because there isn't. It wasn't. I wasn't trying to. It wasn't a gotcha. But like, it's because they didn't build them up. And you know, it's quite funny with them bringing in people like Ricky Saints and Blake Monroe, because those guys probably could have gone on big TV, really. But I can also understand wanting to seize them a little bit and everything like that. But again, they're picking these guys up from other companies. They're not. Where is this world-class performance center we hear so much about? Surely the purpose of you having the best facility in the world for wrestling is to create these stars of tomorrow. You're just buying them from other companies.
Carlos Estrada is going crazy right now. He says Tiffany Stratton, Bianca Belair.
No. Bianca Belair, yes. But also, I'm talking about the men specifically. I'm not talking about the women. And Tiffany Stratton is a very rare case, and a great case, of somebody who had no experience in wrestling, had no background in wrestling, didn't seem to have any interest in wrestling, was asked to try this thing out, and took that opportunity with both hands and has made the most of it. You know, that's a great success story for them. But in terms of the men, very, very little has come out of the PC. And, you know, it's a concern when you are the number one game in town and all you can do is try and get talent from other companies. It's madness. And also as well,
it's madness
at the moment. It is, but also as well, like, you know, at the moment, like, you look at the guys that are on top, right? All of those guys that are at the top of the card that are going to be the next world champion in their 40s, late 40s. Do you know what I mean? Like, Joe Hendry, I can't remember who it was, but somebody said that Joe Hendry is a future WWE world champion. You know, he's having a great rookie year. And I'm like, the guy's 37. What are we doing here?
They'll never put the strap on that guy. Never. Not WWE.
I don't know. Look, when a guy gets over on social media, they'll give him something for sure. But,
yeah, well, Karrion Kross was over on social media, and where did he go? He's at the door. So I don't know.
You know what? You commented on. You replied to my host yesterday about that. That was a conversation I'd had with people like privately. Was about the fact that before he left, big movement. We Want Cross trending worldwide. Posters in the arena, and he left. He started working for some independents. He won a title an independent as well. No one's talking about it. No one's talking about it. Why? If you're a fan of a wrestler and you really like that wrestler, you'll follow him. You'll follow them. I've gone and seen wrestlers that I used to watch on TV wrestle at local independent show in the UK. I love that guy. I'm going to go and see him. That's what you do. If they turn up in TNA, AEW, whatever, if I like them that much, I'm going to watch it. Yeah. I'm not going to be like, oh, well, screw them, which is something that we see a lot on social media as well. You know, when Edge left, threats were made about his family because people were upset that he left AEW.
I was one of them. Not threatening his family.
I was gonna-
Upset that he left.
right. You can be upset a wrestler leaves, right, and
Yeah.
be disappointed or whatever. Like, I was disappointed that Blake Monroe left because I
Yeah.
felt that she hadn't finished her story. She'd finished the storyline she was in, but I thought there was a lot more they could do with her.
Yeah.
But her heart was set on WWE, right? That was what she wanted from when she was a kid, and they came knocking. Of course, she's going to go. I was disappointed to see her go. Didn't blame her, and certainly wasn't mad at her for doing it. Good luck to her. But that is unfortunately the internet wrestling community. But yeah, if you like a wrestler that much, you follow them where they go. You don't just do a hashtag for a few weeks and forget they ever existed.
The
like,
trend,
it's weird.
the trend, the hashtag about we want Cross. It's the trend, and what happened? It's nowhere to be found. What are you topping off over there, my friend?
This is Cherry Pepsi Max.
Okay.
Other soft drinks are available.
This is Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola.
Pepsi. This is like us in wrestling, right? Because Pepsi, Coca-Cola, AWWE.
Yeah.
I would just so you mentioned about like my fandom and stuff like that. So let me just for anyone that cares, I'll be clear. So I watched WWE from 90 to 95, 96. Stopped for a few years, started again in 2000, and I watched pretty much consistently up until 2019. 2019, I was like, or 2018, I was like, you know what? This is just not fun for me anymore. I think I might have to give this up. And then AEW was announced, and I was like, okay, who have they got? Okay, I'm interested. So I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to give up on wrestling completely. So I'm going to carry on watching, and I did carry on watching both products. And then we had the pandemic, which was obviously rough for everybody. I was not a fan at all of the Thunderdome era. Thought it was horrible. But it was what it was.
AEW. We had AEW giving us good television in the pandemic.
Like that is true. Like people turn around and say, "Oh, 2020 was terrible." Yet no, 2020 had decent stuff going in terms of wrestling. Yeah. The year was rough, but there were highlights and lowlights. But the biggest problem for me, and this is something I know doesn't affect you at all, and it's so good to be able to be like that. I just hate how the company operates, and I'd stopped paying. I think it was 2019. I stopped paying for subscription to the network because of stuff that came out about Ashley, and I was like, I just can't financially support this company anymore, and so I just made a moral choice.
Ashley Massaro?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I just thought I can't make morally, I don't feel comfortable supporting this company, so I just stopped paying. Like I still had access to the television because of my TV package, but I just stopped paying for the network, stopped buying the video games. And then again, when the stuff with Vince came out, I was like, man, this is,
even worse.
No, I'm not paying for it. I'm still watching it. Like, what do I do? But I still kind of carried on. And then the stuff that came via the lawsuit and with Brock and the stuff as well, it's not even like the argument I always hear when I tell somebody, this is my grey area. This is my line in the sand for this company. Well, Vince isn't there anymore. Very true. He's not there anymore. The people that enabled that behavior to happen, they're still there. They're still in positions of power. Then you add on what Triple H is doing himself at the moment in terms of all that stuff we don't want to talk about because we don't want to go down that path. But the stuff I'm talking about, the stuff that gets screen, right? Yeah. You've got that stuff going on as well, and also you look at record profits. Ticket prices going through the roof, still fire people because we can't afford them. Trying to stiff people on contracts, just in general. We've seen a few people walk away recently because their new deals were not what they thought they were worth. Mm-hmm. And then you hear like, oh well, Swerve Strickland, Tony Khan paid through the nose for him, like mugged him off. Tony Khan probably did pay through the nose for him. To be fair, I'm not going to say that's not true. However, the one thing, and this is the thing that annoys me so much about wrestling fans, the fact that you're all wrestling fans, is, well, we don't like AEW. We don't want them to succeed. We don't want them to exist. That's a very WWE way of looking at things, because when you've got an AEW, and it used to be the same to an extent with TNA back in the day, but especially with AEW, because they have who they have behind it, it now gives the wrestlers options. It now gives the wrestlers the chance to earn more money. When Drew McIntyre was going to leave and The Rock stepped in, I was like, no, we need to keep this guy here. That happened because AEW were like, we're interested in you. And he got himself a nice bus out of it and a nice upgrade, and he negotiated a lower deal in terms of years contracted than he would have done otherwise. So that happens because there's competition. And people will sit there week in, week out, on Spaces, in private groups, about how much they hate AEW and how they want it to fail. If you don't like the product, don't watch it. But why you hate watch, I don't understand. But if you're willing for a company to die, those wrestlers to be out of work, the production staff to be out of work, the people that work in the offices to be out of work, and you want a monopoly where the wrestlers are paid terribly again because there's no competition for them, because there's nowhere else for them to go except the biggest game in town, you're not a fan. You're not a fan.
I get you 100%, but there's also those chats talking about how shitty WWE is, and I get the payments, and I get how they're treated over there. I get that, but like you just finished saying, to wish AEW to fold and to see all those wrestlers and all those people lose their jobs, that's not right to wish upon or to think about. But same thing for WWE. We don't want that to happen to WWE. It's never gonna happen. But I mean, at the end of the day, I said this in my podcast just before you with James. I'm like, can't we just all get along?
No, we can't. And unfortunately,
oh wow, okay, Hannibal, Jesus, that was a quick answer.
Exactly, because this is so crystal clear to me. It's untrue. And the thing is, I don't want WWE to die. I don't want them to succeed.
This conversation is tearing down my background over there.
You know what it was? It's because I answer so quickly and loudly. But I don't want WWE to fail. I don't want them to close or anything like that. But here's where I take issue with the can't we all get along, right? So WWE get a great deal with Netflix, right? The biggest deal we've ever seen in wrestling, right? That is great for the industry when a company does that, right? That's good news across the board, because if Netflix are paying that much for that product, that means your product, which doesn't do the same ratings, is going to get a better deal than what they had before. They're not going to get the Netflix deal. Don't get it twisted. But what I mean is, if Netflix are going to pay $5 billion, and you've got a show that does half that, you could quite easily get 200-300 million, right? So it's good for the industry when that happens. The problem is, WWE did that with Netflix. Then they do a deal with USA Network for SmackDown and Peacock for Sunday Night's Main Event. Then they go to Paramount and they sell. Not Paramount. With ESPN, sell the pay-per-views to ESPN. And so what you're doing is you are making sure that your company is kind of like on all of these big broadcasters. And then we swing around to Paramount, and Paramount bought the UFC rights recently, right? And that's also owned by TKO. And what that means is, if Warner Brothers turned around and said, we don't want AEW content anymore, okay, that's fine. They go out to market. But they can't go to Netflix because the exclusivity on that deal means they can't have another wrestling company on there. Same with USA and Peacock. Same with ESPN, right? So they're and also as well, ESPN's owned by Disney, which means ABC's out, Hulu's out, Fox is out, Tubi's out because Evolve's on Tubi. You see what I mean? So what they're doing is they're making sure they don't have anywhere to go. And then Warner Brothers is up to sale.
That was a conversation we had on. Yeah. Okay. I get you.
And Paramount is the number one. Is the choice of the president? Why is that happening? I mean, and don't get me wrong, right? It's not because Triple H is telling Trump, you need Paramount to do this so we can put the X in the square, right? He wants that for CNN. He doesn't care about AEW. But if Paramount do end up doing that, then that's another avenue they can't go to. So what WWE does is it tries to create a monopoly. Again, we saw this in the 80s. We saw this in the UK a few years ago when they launched WWE UK. Oh, sorry, NXT UK. And the independents were then fighting to try and retain talent because WWE were going, here's a contract. The money was terrible, but you're going to be on TV. You're going to be on WWE TV on the network. You're going to be global. So people took the deals, but they then couldn't work the independents. The independents had to close down. Only a few survived. Like this, this is a common pattern. So the problem is that when someone says to me, "Can we all get along?" I would love for everyone to get along, but when you can't play nice with people, you can't do it. You just can't do it.
In a fantasy world, you know, this is. After the Slam, guys, again, this is world record. Carlos Estrada was on episode 3.
Yeah.
4. He broke the record with 427 people. You, Hannibal, have hit 79 people watching this show, watching your beautiful face, talking about how much you hate WWE.
But this is the thing, I don't. This is why it's so annoying, because I don't enjoy the products right now. Clearly not for me.
No,
clearly not for me.
Choice. Yeah, of course.
But it used to be, and it has been, and I would quite like it to be again. As I said, morally, there are things I've got issues with. From a entertainment perspective, right now, I don't think Cody Rhodes is that great. But then I felt like that when he was in AEW, so it's not like my opinion hasn't changed there.
Yeah, of course.
CM Punk is CM Punk, and again, never a big fan of him before he joined AEW. Was even less of a fan when he went back to WWE. He is what he is.
This is the most controversial show we've had yet. Jesus.
Roman Reigns is someone that I never really liked the Shield. Full stop. Any of them.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, but I thought the Bloodline was such a good storyline at times. And it's funny, like, it goes back to what you said about Don Callis earlier. Like, there were times when the Bloodline was like the best thing on television. And in times I was like, just kill it off already. Do you remember when Sami Zayn was facing Roman? Was it Bell Center, maybe?
Yeah, where I live, right here. I was there live.
Yeah. Mate, I was like, I know he's supposed to face Cody at WrestleMania, but they need to put the belt on Sami Zayn now.
That if Sami Zayn was going to win that championship title at Elimination Chamber in Montreal, Quebec downtown would have been on fire. Okay, they were kicking trash cans and everything because he lost. Like the Montreal Canadiens, the Habs lost the hockey game. Imagine, and this is predetermined wrestling, people.
It shouldn't be that serious, but
yeah, he won. He won. If he won the title, and he would even if he won it, then lost it back to Roman the week after. Who cares? Continue your story with Cody at WrestleMania. But if he won it at that event, history. But they don't want to put the name Sami Zayn defeats Roman Reigns title record. That was the whole reason why behind it.
Do you know what I think was so when you reflect back on the Bloodline thing, like there were 2 stops during that reign where it could have changed, and that was one of them, right?
Yeah,
where Sami could have won in Montreal. The second, or the first one, really, is when he fought Drew McIntyre at the first Clash in the Castle.
Champions, yeah,
in Wales,
and he's still trying to get that belt.
Yeah, because it wasn't. And I hate when WWE will turn around to you and say, "Oh, it's his hometown crowd." The guy is Scottish. He was in Wales. That's not how it works. However, still part of the United Kingdom, so we would have been happy to see him win. But there were 2 times, and I thought the reason why they didn't pull the trigger both times was because they were trying to get Roman to beat Hogan's record, and he didn't. So, are you honestly telling me that you couldn't have let them two both have very small, couple of weeks, maybe a month title reigns, and carried on the Bloodline? So, of course you could have. Of course you could have, because the thing that annoyed me the most about the Bloodline towards the end was that every match was the same, right? Roman would fight somebody, interference. When the ref wasn't looking, he retains. On we go. Like, it got very, very boring. It started great. It got boring towards the end. The best thing they did was the way they finished it, and that was great. But yeah. Anyway, the point is, I don't hate WWE. I do have a preference now,
of course,
and I would like. And again, until SummerSlam this year, I was watching both products. I was enjoying one more than the other, but I was watching both. Since SummerSlam this year, I have watched very, very little WWE, but I follow it.
At the end of the day, Hannibal, right? You're still watching and following both. You prefer one. You prefer one, which is normal. You prefer one, and you're allowed to prefer one. You know, it's the person that, for me, that comes to you're only allowed to pick one and only watch one and let the other one die. No, I'm going to watch both. Again, I watch WWE. You watch AEW. So but we're not arguing with each other. We understand each other, and this is where the fans should be at a common ground, like how you and are able to converse about what we like and what we don't like. You know, I don't judge you for anything. You know, it's like, don't judge me.
Oh, definitely judge me for stuff, but you should be able to have like decent conversation. And I think that's the thing that's disappointing, is that quite often you can't. And there's another thing that I do want to just bring up briefly, which is, you hear this a lot. AEW fans can't take criticism. They're very defensive, right? Hear this a lot. And it's not that AEW fans are defensive, but the reason why is not because they've got this blind loyalty. Now, again, always exceptions to the rules. There are some people that do. I see it for every wrestling company out there. I see that. But generally speaking, I'm defensive of AEW because it feels like it's under constant attack. Because the fan base is so big for WWE. Of course, it would be. It's been the number one for so long. That when you see criticism, it's always amplified. But there's a big difference between criticism. Like fair criticism, and people just being grifters, or people just saying stuff for the sake of saying stuff. If someone says something's not a good match because X, Y, and Z, that's valid opinion, because we all have that, right? You can watch a match and I can watch a match and we'll see it very differently. I watched Cena versus AJ at Crown Jewel. Right?
Yeah,
I didn't like it. I didn't hate it.
Oh, wow.
But the reason I didn't like it was because I felt it felt like it was watching a video game where you've done the cheat code with Game Genie or whatever, and you can just spam all the finishes.
The Game Genie. Oh my goodness. The Game Genie. Yeah, took out that booklet and you press them buttons, people. Okay.
That's it, man. But do you know what I mean? But I can understand why people liked it. And also as well, like, out of 5, it was a good 2.5 3-star match for me.
Yeah,
right?
okay, I get you. Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm not saying it was terrible. I'm just saying there were things I liked and things I didn't like. But that was controversial. That's me, well, it's because you hate WWE, you can't like anything. No. I've just given you a valid reason as to why that didn't work for me. Doesn't mean I hated it. If you give something 3 out of 5 or even 2.5 out of 5, that's half of the total. Right, that's in the middle. That's like where you should be with things. If you want to hate something, as long as it's valid, fine. But what I mean is that generally when I hear criticism of AEW and I try and what exactly was it? What was it that you didn't like about it, or whatever? They can't tell you. And that's either because they're just parroting stuff they've heard from someone else because they don't watch it, or because they're just being disingenuous because they just hate the company, which is fine. I can't comment on something WWE has done fairly if I haven't watched it. So I can't. If you ask me something, if you ask me how Brock versus Cody was,
Well,
I saw the highlights. I don't really feel that I can give you an opinion on that.
how do you
Because I saw the
feel about
highlights.
Aleister Black with Eli Dragunov? You saw
Right.
the highlight.
Right.
Did you like that,
Do you
man?
know what I mean? But
You don't
I
know.
don't feel like I should. But yeah, that's the thing. There's this thing where AEW fans can't accept criticism. I can accept fair criticism, and I love to have dialogue with people. What I can't stand is black and white arguments because you just don't like 3 letters, full stop. So therefore, nothing that happens can be good. There are things WWE do that I think are great. There are things that I don't like. Doesn't mean I hate one company. Just means I don't enjoy it as much as something else.
Yeah. See, at the end of the day, Hannibal and myself, we are wrestling fans. That's what matters. Right?
Yeah.
That's what people have to understand. We are wrestling fans. Like the product, like what you want to like, but we have to not judge and insult and argue the other person's opinion. Doesn't our opinions like I got this thing, okay? I'm gonna get slack, I'm gonna repeat this. I got this TikTok I posted about Bryan Danielson. Now, Bryan Danielson won the AEW title at the event you were at, right?
Mm-hmm.
That was one of the greatest matches and victories I've ever seen of that man. What happened to him a month later?
Death Riders.
Had to lose the title because he was injured. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
I'm here. Whoa. See, he lost the title a month later. Same thing when he won the WWE title at WrestleMania 30. A month later, he loses it because he had to forfeit it because he was injured. For me, Bryan Danielson is the top 5 wrestler of all time. Okay? That's my opinion. My opinion, people. But he is the most overrated by the fans. The fans make him overrated because of how he is and how he. But what is most special about him? He's special of what he got because of you guys, because of us, because of our fans. Because at the end of the day, he always got hurt at the end. And at TikTok, I got like 1,000 comments saying I don't know nothing about pro wrestling and my opinion doesn't. And I told these people, you're absolutely right. My opinion doesn't matter. My opinion doesn't matter. It's just what I think. You guys put this guy on a pedestal. You put him on a pedestal. But what has he done for you lately? He was commentator on, go back to a Janet Jackson song. What has he done for you lately?
But it's the same.
That's what it is. there's your answer.
It's the same. It's the same with Seth Rollins, right?
Yeah, exactly. You put this guy on a pedestal.
This is someone who's done the same. And to be fair to Danielson, he didn't.
I love him.
Well, yeah. But I mean, he didn't even want to win the championship. Like Tony Khan was like, I can't have you here and not win the championship. That's like ludicrous. Yeah. Like so Danielson.
He's an amazing wrestler. He's an amazing wrestler.
Danielson wouldn't have retired, but he was already, looking to go part-time. And I think Tony sold him on look, win it all in. You could lose like not the next pay-per-view, the pay-per-view after.
Full year, whatever.
Right. Yeah. So that's what I think happened there. But yeah, I mean, yeah. Am I wrong? Not well. I mean, yes and no.
I'm not saying he's bad. I'm not saying he's bad, but why do we put him on a pedestal so much? Why?
I think because, as you said, like he's a top 5 wrestler of all time.
Yeah, that's why
he defined indie wrestling for a generation when he was in Ring of Honor.
Yes. Amazing wrestler.
He changed the perception of wrestling in WWE because the whole story with WrestleMania 30, right? Which was, I hate to say, it was the last WrestleMania, top to bottom. I loved every WrestleMania from that. There's been bits and pieces, but 30 was almost like the perfect show for me, right? And the whole story leading into that was that the company didn't believe in him, so he wasn't in the Rumble. He definitely wasn't going to be fighting at WrestleMania. The company didn't believe in him. The fans made sure they heard that they believed in him.
Mm-hmm,
and then that was used to amplify. And then on top of that, think about what happened that night. The guy had to beat Triple H who at that time was still credible in terms of like stature and everything like that in the card. He had to beat Triple H to then get into a triple threat later on that night and then win that to become the champion. It was such a perfect story that they told then. And what it did was it changed the perception of wrestling, because this, the reason he wasn't given an opportunity was because he was too small, because he wasn't the right size, wasn't the right weight or anything like that. And he proved the critics wrong. And so I think it's his legacy that puts him on that pedestal. How many matches have you watched him in that you can say are bad? I can think of about 3 or 4. One of them was against Kamala.
Like 6-man matches and 6-man tags or tag team matches are bad.
Right.
His one-on-one matches, I don't think one is bad. They're all entertaining.
No. He wrestled Kamala.
Come on, that was Jesus Christ, man. That doesn't even count as a match.
That's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, like, no record's perfect, but in terms of career, it's really tight. It's really tight.
Top five.
I would defend him, and also as well. I wouldn't even say like I'm a massive fan of him, but I respect what he's done for the industry.
For sure.
Which is why
Carlos said something good here.
Yeah.
He changed the business, and for the smaller guys too. I totally understand, but at the end of the day, I was told off, basically, Hannibal. I was told off Twitter. I was Twitter raped. Okay, saying that I don't know anything about wrestling. I know. Like I'm not here to tell you I know better than you. I'm not.
But here's the other thing, right, about opinions, and this one drives me nuts as well, right? How many times do you hear people moaning about Dave Meltzer?
Oh my God, yeah.
Right?
everybody.
I keep saying this to people. Like, I am completely ambivalent to it. Like, I don't really care one way or the other, right? Yeah. Sometimes he says some things that I think are mad. Other things I can see the logic in them. Like a lot of things, there's like, it goes both ways. But when it comes to his matches, people put all this stock in getting a 5-star match. Or, oh, well, of course he's not going to give that a 5-star match because it wasn't in the Tokyo Dome, it was WWE wrestlers, right? Regardless, it's one man and his opinion. That's all it is. It's one man and his opinions. Why do you let it bother you so much? Why? It's just one man and his opinions. That's all it is. Why do we hold so much weight to it? Because that is all it is. And you say that to somebody, you watch their head explode because they haven't thought about it. There's been so much time having to decide why he's like the worst thing that's happening in the wrestling business that when you actually point out the logical flaw, there's just one man or one man's opinions, and it doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
We're supposed to do.
So now I think we didn't get to know you a bit, but it's crazy how we could talk for hours, you and I. So
are you wrapping up on me because we haven't talked about the Montreal train system or the underground city?
No. I'm not wrapping up. We have another half an hour, but I want to just do a little commercial, not a commercial, but I want to bring up my next guest coming up. In the next did you watch my very first episode? Have you seen my very first episode? No, I haven't, sir. Or have you?
No, that was with your dad, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so that he is coming back. So there's a graphic. That man is coming back next Saturday at noon. It's going to be building a podcast studio in my house. So when you come back to Montreal, Hannibal, we're going to do a one-on-one here in my studio.
There'll be room. Yeah.
There's going to be a couch, a seat. We're going to talk mics. Have everything pretty cool. So next Saturday, my father's going to be here. We're going to be talking round 2, about his wrestling opinion. He's not an AEW fan, so he's gonna express his AEW stuff, And also, but next Sunday, my first female is gonna be my guest. Where is she? She's a part of the DWE as well, the Wrestling Collective. Where is she? I don't find. There she is. She's part of the Wrestling Collective. I'm assuming.
Yeah.
The final boss lady. She's gonna rip me to shreds as well, so I think so.
No, not at all. She's a sweetheart.
She's cool. Like she's very welcoming in the show as well. When I go to her spaces with Miami the Great,
yes,
which she'll be a part in December.
Yeah,
but also our quick. I'm gonna have four more questions for you. We're talking about the Montreal Underground system, but I want to ask you: are you a John Cena fan?
No. But
No. I'm not asking you why. I'm not asking you why. I'm not asking
Yeah.
you why. I just want to.
but again, but I respect what he's done. But I never really got into him as a. He was never my top guy.
Do you appreciate what he's done for the business?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so there you go. There's the graphic I'm showing you right now. December 14. I'm going to invite you. I'm going to shoot you the link. I'm going to shoot a bunch of links to a bunch of people. I like to do a special edition of After the Slam, 4:00 Eastern time. If you're available, you're available. You're not, you're not. But I'd just like to invite everybody that we know here in the Wrestle Collective, and the DWE, and the fans of pro wrestling, all of our socials community. I'd like to invite everybody who would like to be a part of that show in a big screen, half an hour tribute, maybe an hour tribute to John Cena. Talk about what he's done for us in our wrestling, I guess, fandom. Why we're so passionate. I was a big John Cena mark. Heel Cena was a flop, but whatever it may be. But I'm a big John Cena guy, so I would like to invite you, Hannibal, as well, to come to the show and share your opinion on John Cena and whatever you may have for John Cena for us after his retirement on the 13th at Saturday Night's Main Event. 14th, we'll do a John Cena tribute. So I'm inviting you, sir.
Do you think this is it? Because I do.
No.
I generally believe that when he says the time is now, this is it, I believe him.
In ring, I think he's a straight up dude. Yes, in the ring, yes, but as appearances, yeah, he'll show up again. He'll show up. You'll hear his song. He'll show up. He'll definitely be in the Hall of Fame. He'll definitely be in the Hall of Fame. He's gonna. But in ring, I believe so. James, on the other hand, James Hebert, he was telling me that he believes he's gonna go to AEW. If that ever happens, Jesus Christ, that's crazy news. That would be crazy in a sense, you know.
I think it's bad form if you sell something as being like the last time.
Yeah, don't do a Ric Flair. Don't do a Ric Flair. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I think I liken it more to bands. To be honest, like you would see the Eagles announce their farewell tour. You're like, oh man, this is my last chance to go and see the Eagles. You go and see the Eagles, and in 2 years later, they're like, "Hey, it's the final tour now." It's like, well, hang on a second. You said it was the final tour last time. Do you know? I don't mean to pick on the Eagles. I'm just saying they're a band that have done that, but there are many different artists that have done that before.
I believe him. I believe that it's over. He's done his time, and he's leaving on the right time. He's leaving the right. I don't like the fact that he's leaving at Saturday Night's main event. Like they crapped on Goldberg. So I don't believe that should be his last match. No, his last match should be at a WrestleMania or even a Royal Rumble, whatever it may be, but not Saturday Night's Main Event. They just threw him in there. That's wrong for me. You don't do that scene like that. But
no.
And if they, if they do what they did to Goldberg, he's going to AEW. So that's it. I'm not like. No,
I hear this. I know he's got a very good relationship with WBD.
Yeah.
Obviously,
but
because of other things. He loves Vince too much. He loves Vince too much. He won't go. I don't.
But thank you, John Cena. That the 13 is going to be a stab to the heart for me because I grew up on John Cena. All right, so let's talk about Montreal a bit. And then I'm going to have my final two questions. What happened? What's going on with Montreal with you, bud?
We had some friends that were living out there at the time. They're both out there for work, and it was after restrictions had kind of like lifted, and
after COVID, okay,
yeah, and we were like, we should meet up. And they were like, why didn't you come to Montreal? So it was like, okay. I didn't really think much about it. It was really for my daughter, my wife, more my daughter than anyone else, to go there. And we just we booked an Airbnb just down the road from where our friends were living at the time. And we just went and saw them, and we went to what was it called? The botanical gardens, or whatever you want to call
Oh,
it.
yeah.
The
You're right here on View and Sherbrooke, yes?
yeah, and we
I know
climbed
Chava.
and we climbed
Mount Royal.
Mount Royal. We went up there.
Yeah.
It's very fun. I say climbed it, and we walked it. Obviously, they climbed.
Yeah, it's a walk.
But yeah, and you know, we just hung out, and we had some great poutine. I can't remember the name of the place now, but it was rated, I think, the second, or it was a top 2 poutine spot in Montreal.
Bonkeys.
Yeah, they're both across the road from each other, right?
Yeah,
The
yeah,
two
yeah.
best
The
ones.
Bonkeys.
Yeah. So
And
you
then
know,
Woodinville. Yes.
yeah. So walk down there, and we did a lot of walking as well around Montreal, because it was like a lot of things are fairly close. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You can get away with that, but I did go on the metro, and man, those trains are quiet. Those trains are quiet. When you've grown up in London and you're used to the underground system there, and you have to wear, I mean, I have to wear earplugs. Not everyone has to wear earplugs, but the sound of those trains is like so insane. And the rubber tires, man, that they use on those trains, I was fascinated by them. And then going into a shopping center and finding out that you can actually kind of like go underground and basically navigate a huge chunk of the city just through these subways. Like, I was obsessed, man. I was like, what the hell is this? And I understand it. I get it. Because the weather's so insane, right? In terms of like
winter?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Because I went the 3rd week of October. So it would have been
Okay, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah, so it would have been like last week, really.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was my anniversary while we was out there as well. And when we was out there, it was like 25, 30 degrees. And then within 2 weeks of us coming back home, there was like a few feet of snow, you know, and winds had started to kick in, you know. And it's just so weird. So I understand why they do it, but it just fascinates me with the thought process of, look, you know, we get extreme weather here. In order for us to like just be able to like live as we want to live, we're gonna build stuff underground. We're gonna have like offices up top and offices down below, and we'll use some of the year, and you know, we'll use the others the rest of the year. Like, it's genius. This country that I'm in now, if we get more than about 2 inches of snow, the trains stop. They don't know how to cope. The roads get crazy.
2 inches. Oh my goodness.
We can't cope. We can't cope in this country with like extreme weather. We're useless. You guys have got it going on. You're smart.
I go to work 45-minute drive from my house to work, 45 every single day. And Monday to Friday. And if there's and this is, you said inches, if there's like 40 centimeters of snow, we're shoveling and we're going to work.
Mm-hmm.
So I got a snowblower, man. I got a snowblower in front of my little, and I'm snowblowing, getting the snow out of there, make my pathway, get in the car, boom, put my heating on blast, and let's go. You know,
exactly. That's the thing. You just get on with it. I've got family in Norway, same story. Like, they get like ridiculous amounts of snow, and they deal with it. You know,
you have to, especially here. Like, our price of living is going up.
Yeah,
every single year, price of living is going up. The snow, Mother Nature is dying, because the amount of snow we could get once a winter and the amount of snow we could get another winter are two different types.
Sure.
So it's sad for our children and our children's children when it comes to the weather here in Canada, especially. But it's we got to cope with it. We got to do what we got to do. We got to do what we got to do.
No, you're right, and yeah, I mean, I stopped eating meat because
for you, right? You got those 2 inches of snow. Everything stops.
Yeah.
How do you go to work? How do people commute? How do people go to work?
Badly. I mean, it's an exaggeration of sorts. Like, it would take a little bit more than that, but generally speaking, like, when there's a bit of weather, we don't handle it very well. Most people can work remote, especially after the pandemic. A lot of stuff went to remote anyway. I go in a couple of days a week, but I work remotely for the other 3 days. And if the trains stop working because of the weather, I just work from home. They're cool with that. But I mean, obviously, not every job you can do that. So you have to find alternative ways of getting there. It's it's a nightmare. This country is just useless. But it was one other thing that I found when I was in Montreal, which you keep this a secret. You keep this a secret, not you personally, but Canada.
I can't.
And
I
that
got
is your
86 people
Maples.
watching here.
What?
Oh, we keep it a secret to Maples, okay? Because I'm like, what secret are you telling me? We got 86 people watching here, but I don't know about that.
No, the maple syrup, the stuff that we get. I don't know what that is. That's not maple syrup. The stuff you guys keep hold of.
We get it from them trees, man. We get it from them maple trees.
Oh, I know where it comes from.
We have this thing. We have this thing in the winter. It's around March time. It's coming up actually soon. March, April. We have this thing called cabane à sucre. Okay, it's like a lot of sugar. You know, we go to this. It's like a country feel thing. I don't know how to explain it, but our maple syrups come from. We go there, so we take this little metal thing, we stick it in the tree. We wait 5 minutes, and then this little maple comes out of there. Put it in a jar. Thank you, sir. Back it up and let's go. Hey,
man.
you know, we go, hey, sir, thank you. Hey, sorry, thank you. You know, man, we get the hell out of there. That's all we do.
I just made one very quick observation. I did really enjoy the fact that in obviously Montreal, French Canada, right? Yeah. You don't have KFC, you have PFK.
We have PFK. We turn the words world, yeah.
Yeah, but in France, they have KFC.
Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Yeah. So what's that about? Why you speak the same language?
Oh, here there's language laws as well. Like here, like if the store is named in English, we have the language police, and I'm not joking. We have a language police. There was a barbershop near my house that the barbershop was called the Corner Shop. The Corner Shop. The language police fined this man 30,000 Canadian dollars to change that sign because you cannot call it the Corner Shop. You have to call it le Magasin du Coin. You have to call it something else in French. But this man is an immigrant. He's an immigrant Greek that came from Greece to open up his own business in Canada. So he's living the dream kind of thing. And then you got the Quebec language police coming in and saying, no, you got to change that language. You got to change that title to a French name, or you got to pay or get the fuck out. That's crazy to me.
It's terrible. It's terrible. The only positive thing about that is currently 30,000 Canadian dollars is about 25 American dollars. So
yeah,
at least that.
Well, thank you to the Wrestle Collective. It's okay. Thank you to the Wrestle Collective. You know, reposted the stream. I'm still waiting for my invite to join the Wrestle Collective. You know, I'm still waiting. TikTok. You know.
They take the time. They take the time. Don't worry about it. Okay.
I know. I've been watched. I know I've been watched. You guys are watching me.
Yeah, it's like the Miro.
Who the hell is after the time?
We know.
I'm based on me play. Okay, last two questions because it's an hour and a half we're together. I want you to go back to your family, my friend. 2 questions. Here we go. Yeah, I'm going to say this question before the other. I know you're not a big WWE. Well, you are a WWE fan. Whatever. Survivor Series. Okay, I asked this question. If you have to pick you and 4 other guys to take on, let's say, the Don Callis family in a Survivor Series match, who are the 4 guys you're picking by your side and who is the sole survivor to this matchup? You could pick anybody from any era, any age, dead or alive.
I've got to pick 3 people, basically, don't I?
4. It's 5 on 5.
Oh, 5 on 5. Okay. So I would pick the Dark Order of John Silver, Alex Reynolds, Evil Uno, and then just for shits and giggles, Orange Cassidy. Just because I think it would be fun. And the sole survivor would be Takeshita. No one's winning on my team.
Who are you being pinned? Who's from the Don Callis family? Who's pinning you? Who's pinning Hannibal Scorch? Who's putting the shoulders down to the mat?
Lance Archer. So we can revert it back. Lance Archer, yeah.
Lance Archer gets the win, people. He gets the win.
feel bad for what I said earlier, so give him the rub on the way out.
He gets the win. Oh man, I'm getting text messages from the wife. Are you almost done your damn podcast? Yes, baby, I'm almost done. Okay, last question. And Hannibal, again, thank you so much for taking the time.
Welcome.
Spending an hour and a half with me. Everybody, I appreciate everyone who takes the time with me. I don't like it when you cancel, but I like it when I like it when you spend time with me. At least let me know. Final question for you, bud. In 10 years, what do you think the wrestling business is going to be like?
Dead. But dead, but not dead.
Big
dead.
words right there.
Yeah.
You just put the hairs on my neck standing up. Holy mackerel!
Jesus Christ. Well, I said to you, like, I'm a guy that's very honest. Like, if we look at the current trajectory, it's going down. It's going down, and it's not a WWE thing. It's not an AEW thing. Well, it is actually, and the reason why is because when number one isn't doing so good, it trickles down. That's how it always works, unfortunately. We saw it in the UK when the biggest company in the UK, when the biggest companies in the UK lost their TV deal in the 80s, the industry died for like 10 years. We're not there yet. But if you look at the amount of money being spent currently on WWE products, on AEW products, especially, it's not sustainable because those shows, it's all about return of investment, and they're not showing a return of investment to the right people. They're getting massive social media clicks, YouTube clips, everything like that.
Yeah.
YouTube are not paying for Raw. They're not paying for SmackDown. They've got the clips, but you see what I mean? Like, Netflix are paying this money for this exclusivity. So they need to see a return of investment. If they're not seeing a return of investment, they'll get cancelled. SmackDown got kicked off Fox because Fox admitted after SmackDown left, they lost money every episode because the advertising revenue wasn't enough, because the ratings weren't enough, so they couldn't get the revenue back on the advertising. So, when these companies spending lots of money but they're not seeing return on investment, those deals become lower. When those deals become lower, you have to make cuts. So either they renew and they're still on TV, but they're not getting so much money, which means they have to cut people, or they just don't get those deals and they're relegated to lesser networks. And then if you're not as prominent, people aren't coming to your shows. So, I do think that unless we see another Austin, another Rock, to an extent, another Cena, somewhere within the wrestling industry, it's gonna really be in a depressing state in 10 years' time. But it won't die completely. It will just not be as popular as it is right now. And as popular as it is right now is nothing like how wrestling was popular 10 years, 20 years, 25 years ago. So.
Jesus. All right.
He ain't going to help. Yeah? Unfortunately. He's not enough of a fan.
Who's not for? All right, so now I'm going to do a screenshot because we're at 93 people on the show. Thank you. Screenshot. So this is going to be for our thumbnail on YouTube, so smile. All right, we got it. So that's going to be the thumbnail on the YouTube page. There you go. Hannibal, thank you, sir. Thank you very much for all the time for me. And all 97 people watching the show. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I didn't offend you in any way. I hope you enjoyed being on After the Slam. Anybody that wants to join After the Slam, again, DM me on Twitter, DM me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, wherever it may be. You could reach out to me. I'm very welcoming. I'd like to have you guys on the show. If you're a wrestling fan, I want you here. Your opinion matters, guys. Remember that. Your opinion matters in wrestling. We like to see the fan. We get to know. Hannibal, I'm going to invite you to the 14th of December. If you're willing to talk about a bit of John Cena, it's all up to you. And we're going to do a part 2 of this because I'm always going to bring back my guests. So that's it, buddy. Thank you so much again. An hour and a half of you and I just chit-chatting pro wrestling.
And sorry to Mrs. the Man. Apologise to her on my behalf and just say some dick from the UK waffled on too much about the Montreal train system.
She's no. She sees After the Slam is becoming. It's slowly getting recognition.
Sure,
it's slowly becoming a popular thing for the fans. It's not for me. It's for you guys. I'm just the vessel of the host. That's all it is. Hannibal, thank you. I'm gonna put you backstage, guys. Thank you very much, all 97 of you watching. Of course, Hannibal. Before you leave, I put you backstage. Can you do your social so everybody could follow you on wherever you are?
Sure. So you can follow me on X. And I say it now, but I still hate it that it's called X.
Twitter.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm at the Nick Soap Dish. THENIC Soap Dish. Yeah, I'm on there if you want to listen to more of my nonsense on there, or follow the Wrestle Collective on YouTube. I appear on their podcast quite regularly, and you'll often see me pop up in spaces. So if you follow me or you disagree with anything I've said and you want to give me some abuse, that's where you do it. The Nick Soap Dish on. No, it's cool. It's cool. I'm used to it by now. Not everyone agrees, man. But no, thank you. It's always fun to talk about some graps and to get some feelings off my chest. So thank you for the opportunity, and yeah, man, I'll catch you again soon. Love to Montreal.
You, sir. All right, guys, I'll put you backstage, and everyone, thank you very much. This is After the Slam, episode 7 on Hannibal Scorch.